Hey, our country today is Uganda, which will be my squad's second month in Africa and seventh month overall on the race. Uganda is in Central East Africa, borders 5 countries as well as Lake Victoria. It is slightly smaller than the state of Oregon, and it's tropical, generally has a rainy season and 2 dry seasons. The dry seasons are December to February and June to August, so my squad will be there during the dry season. It is also semi-arid in the northeast. Uganda is mostly a plateau and has rims of mountains. It's landlocked, but it is fertile, well-watered, and has many lakes and rivers. 72% of the workforce is employed in agriculture. The country also has oil reserves. There's mining of copper, gold, and other minerals, and there's exports of coffee. The country has droughts, floods, earthquakes, landslides, hailstorms, poaching, and draining of wetlands. The people are at a high risk of infectious diseases like Hep A, bacterial diarrhea, malaria, and typhoid fever. There are many different ethnic groups and languages in Uganda. English is the official national language. They also speak Ganda or Luganda, other Niger, Congo languages, Nilo-Saharan languages, and Swahili and Arabic. For religion, 45% of the population is Protestant, about 40% is Roman Catholic, 13.7% is Muslim, and other or no religion is less than 2%. Uganda has 6.5% of the adult population is affected by HIV or AIDS, so that's a pretty high percent. It also has one of the youngest and most rapidly growing populations in the world. The total fertility rate is 5.8 children per woman, which is one of the highest in the world. Women, on average, are less educated, they participate less in paid employment, and they often have little say in decisions over childbearing and their own reproductive health. Uganda has been both a source of refugees and migrants, as well as a host country for refugees. In the north and northeast, long-term conflict has taken place. So it's the Ugandan Bush War of 1981 to 1986, but then also more than 20 years of fighting between Joseph Kony's Lord's Resistance Army and the Ugandan government forces. Uganda has one of the lowest electrification rates in Africa, so only 22% of Ugandans have access to electricity, and if you're in a rural area, that statistic drops to 10%. 21.4% of the population lives below the poverty line. The government is a presidential republic, and the country got its independence from the UK in 1962. It started out with a dictator, and there was some guerrilla war and human rights abuses, but they eventually gained stability under the current president, and I think because of that, Parliament removed term limits on the presidency. The capital of Uganda is Kampala, and the currency is the Ugandan shillings. Okay. Facts about me. These facts are about me as a teacher. So most of you probably know I got my degree in 1st through 8th grade education, moved back home and taught middle school English in my hometown, which was a pretty cool experience. Teaching is something I always wanted to do from a young age. I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, and being a teacher I think is in some ways what I thought it would be and what I hoped it would be, and in some ways it's not. And I think that the biggest lesson I learned this year is that you have to try to not separate yourself, but like I saw 75 students every day, and statistically, like there's going to be at least one student every day who is really struggling or is just in a bad mood. And so I think I really learned that you can't let what's going on in their lives affect you personally, your personal life. And that was really hard for me to learn because I really do care about each and every one of my students. And so I would rack my brain trying to figure out what I could do. And sometimes there's nothing you can do but show up and be there for them and try, and you'll fail but you keep trying to reach them. and to help them. And that's something that was difficult, but something that I think that I'm better at now than I was at the beginning. So middle school, I chose that because it's challenging, but it's so rewarding, and I think that you see a lot of progress in the middle school years. They still, for the most part, they still enjoy being at school and learning, and there's a lot you can do. There's a lot of content you can get through with them. I think education is really important in overcoming issues like discrimination, poverty, so I'm really passionate about education. And personally, I strive to never stop learning and never to stop loving to learn. That's something that I try to teach my students too. And a specific area that I want to keep learning, I took 4 years of Spanish in high school and then 1 semester of advanced Spanish in college. And I'm hoping that it won't be too hard to relearn because I will be in Spanish-speaking countries for 3 months of the race. So that's going to be a cool immersion experience that I'm looking forward to. So I'm hoping that I can pick up the language fairly quickly. So thanks for joining me. 2 more months in Africa, 2 more months in Europe, and then we have been through all 11 months that I will be going to, or 11 countries that I'll be going to in 11 months next year. So see you next time.